Welcome, Minneapolis junior, senior high school sports fans, to Halstead, Kansas, to the gymnasium of Halstead Dragons here at the Adolph Rupp Court at the 49th annual Adolph Rupp Invitational Tournament. From what I understand, the longest running winter tournament in the state of Kansas, starting in 1970. Quarterfinal matchup tonight, last quarterfinal matchup of the tournament with Minneapolis versus Halstead. Minneapolis the number 3 seed, Halstead the number 4 seed. Minneapolis had a 7-2 record before the seedings. Halstead had a 6-3. Dale Leach here for Eagle Communications Channel 20 and CityLinkTV.com Minneapolis channel. Live video for the CityLink TV and tape delay on Eagle Communications Channel 20. Foggy day coming down to Halstead today. There's pea soup around the person. I hope it's better going home, but I have my doubts. This overall is the 16th game in the series between Halstead and Minneapolis, dating back to 2004. Started up in the Sacred Heart Blue and Gold Classic in Salina. Halstead leads the series 8-7. Here at Halstead, they lead the series 2-1. Halstead has won the last 4 games in a row over the Lions, and they are the defending Class 3A state champions. Minneapolis' last victory over Halstead was on December 11, 2015, when Minneapolis won by a score of 49-45. This is the second season for Minneapolis at the Adolph Rupp tournament. Last year they finished 6th. Halstead is currently 7-3 overall. They are scoring an average of 46.4 points to 47.6 for their opponents, for a plus 8.9 average. Minneapolis is scoring 52.8 and giving up 50 for a plus 2.8 average. So that's a 4-point difference between the two schools on average scoring, and guess what? That was the difference in points when we played Halstead back on December 7th in the Tri-County Classic Championship game. They won by a score of 47-43 there at the Kansas West End Gymnasium in Salina. They had, one reason we got started so late is they had a free throw shooting contest and 3-point shooting contest for 4 schools right before our game, and Minneapolis participated in it. The finals of those contests will be Saturday before the championship games, and Minneapolis has an entry in it. Nolan White got second with 18 of 20, so he'll be participating for the championship. The guy that got first out of Andale was 20 of 20. So good luck to Nolan there. As I said, this is the 49th season for the the Adolph Rupp boys basketball tournament here in Halstead. The famous coach from Halstead that grew up in Halstead and ended up coaching at Kentucky for many years. Won a national championship or 2, if I'm not mistaken. The schools participating in this are Andale, Class 4A. They have won 6 of the last 7 Adolph Rupp tournaments. They were the number 1 seed. And Garden Plain was the number 8 seed out of Class 2A. Andale beat them by a score of 72-37. Next school is the Haven Wildcats, Class 3A. And the number 5 seeded Rose Hill Rockets, Class 4A. Haven won that game by 12 yesterday. Next up is the Trny Cardinals, Class 3A. And they played the Winfield Vikings in the game previous to this one. It was a Class 4A squad. Trny beat Winfield by a score of 68-48. And here, coming up, Minneapolis and Halstead in the last quarterfinal game, both 3A squads. Minneapolis is 7-3 overall. Halstead Dragons are 6-3. The winner of tonight's game will go on playing the semifinal Friday night at 7:30 against Trny, and the loser will play Thursday night at 7:30 against Winfield. Winfield is the one team last season that Minneapolis beat in the 2018 tournament. As I mentioned earlier, Halstead is the defending Class 3A champion. They lost at least two very good players off that squad as graduating seniors. I don't know if there's more than that or not, but they have a few good ones back. One of them is Andrew O'Brien, a 6'6" senior that mostly plays point guard. He is one that did a lot of damage to us in Salina. He did a lot of damage to us last year. He's quite an athletic talent. Some of the leading percentage players on the squad, averaging 9.3 points a game, is Caden Griffin. He's also averaging 5.4 rebounds. Jonah Osherman is averaging 7.7 points a game and 5.4 rebounds. Trent Meckel is averaging 4.5 points a game with 1.4 rebounds. Derek Friel is averaging 3.2 points per game with 4.4 rebounds. Nolan White is averaging 5.6 points a game with 3.4 rebounds. Caden McCulloch is averaging 10.3 points a game and 4.8 rebounds. Leading field goal percentage shooters are Jonah Osherman, 54.9%. Hunter Allison with 51.9%. Spencer Davidson, who won't be playing because of his injured foot, 51.2%. Leading three-point shooters are Caden Griffin with 25%, Trent Meckel with 42.9%, Derek Friel with 20%, Nolan White with 23.3%, and Caden McCulloch with 33.3%. Minneapolis is actually out shooting their opponents in three-point percentage, 29.6 to 27.5. However, on the free throw end of things, our opponents having a 70% overall average, Minneapolis a 57% overall average. We'd like to thank some of our sponsors that help us with the costs of doing these games here on live video streaming at CityLinkTV.com. Crooked Nail Studio with Alexis Kern, Autotech, Gary Keating, and Dave Sweat. Klein Oil Company of Delphos with Jim Klein. The Hometown Hardware with Pam Barker and Vicki Kaufman. Crosslane Crop Insurance with John Pruitt. And the Sunflower Realty with Monty Nelson. The girls are playing tonight at southeast of Saline High School. They will be participating in a girls tournament next Tuesday at Berean Academy. In Elbing, Kansas. Time for the national anthem. Very good job by the Halstead High School Pep Band. Time for introductions coming up. This quarterfinal matchup between the Minneapolis Lions, number 3 seed, and Halstead Blue Dragons, number 4 seed. Number 6 seed for Halstead, excuse me. Caden Griffin, junior for the Minneapolis Lions. Lakin Farmer, 6'4" sophomore for Halstead. Junior Jonah Osherman, number 3. 6'6", Andrew O'Brien, a senior for the Dragons. Trent Meckel, sophomore for the Lions. Braden Gerber, 6'2", senior for the Dragons. Derek Friel, junior for the Lions. Josh Talbot, 6' senior for Halstead. And finally, Caden McCulloch for Minneapolis, senior. David Schulte, 6' senior for Halstead. So they start 4 seniors and 1 sophomore. John Darrow, coach of Minneapolis, and Lonnie Lawler, coach of Halstead High School. All right, we're ready for tip-off. 6'6" Gerber against Jonah Osherman from Minneapolis. Going to have a re-jump here. And Minneapolis controls the tip. Meckel brings it up court. Skip pass over to Meckel with the right wing. Down low to Osherman, turnaround jumper. Off, no good. Defensive rebound for the Dragons. And they've got the 6'6" O'Brien down on the base, the post, and he puts it up and in. McCulloch at the top of the key. Down under Griffin underneath. Late reverse layup in for 2. Ties it at 2. 3-pointer from the right side is off, no good. Meckel with the defensive rebound for the Lions. Griffin drives. Layup. Good. Count it. Farmer with the foul. Free throws off. 4-2 Minneapolis. O'Brien. Rebound to the Lions. Reel on the left wing. Now McCulloch, top the key, goes into the free throw line, puts up a runner that's good. Minneapolis up 6 to 6-2. On a 6-0 scoring run. Interception by Meckel. First turnover of the game. Read the squad. McCulloch into Osherman. Over to the left is Friel. He drives, puts up a three from the left wing. In and out. Rebound to the Dragons. Intercepted by Meckel, his second steal of the quarter. Over to Friel. Inside to Osherman is no good. Rebounded by O'Brien for Halstead. (6-2) Minneapolis. Three-pointer by O'Brien is good. Caden Griffin with the deuce. Minneapolis up 8-5. Into O'Brien. His drive down the lane to the basket. He's fouled. Osherman with the foul. O'Brien for three from the right wing. Good. Ties it at 8. And we have a travel on the Lions for their first turnover. Farmer, the sophomore, gets down the right inside to O'Brien. It's post, up and in for two. Gives the Dragons a 10-8 lead. Oh, he walked, no call. Steal by Allison. Nolan White at the top of the key. Inside to Allison. Out front to McCulloch. McCulloch drives. Layup from the right is good. Got around O'Brien. Three by O'Brien is off. Out of bounds, Minneapolis. 10-all. 3:12 here to go in the first quarter. White drives, has his pocket pick, but McCulloch gathers it up. Down to Griffin. Down to Watson. Deep three from the right side, no good. McCulloch with the rebound. His shot is blocked. He gets his own rebound, up and in. And we have timeout by Halstead as Minneapolis takes the 12-10 lead here in the first quarter. So the Lions are playing very well here in the early going. The 6'6" post/point guard Andrew O'Brien is on the bench. for Halstead. They will inbound the ball under the Minneapolis bench. Not bench, under the basket. Playing short, 5. 3-pointer in and out. Jonah Osherman with the rebound. He's fouled. Oh, no, they're calling Jonah. I didn't see it that way. His second personal. O'Brien back in for the Dragons. They get it to him over on the right wing. And a turnover on the Dragons, their 4th of the quarter. Creel in from Minneapolis. And we have a little blood showing on the forearm of number 2, Lakin Farmer, for the Dragons. He'll have to go to the bench, get that cleared up. 25 Lane Pitt, 6-foot senior, comes in for him.
Returning to the Halstead lineup, number 23, David Schulte.
David Schulte's in also, 6-foot senior. Creel down to Meckel. Breaks the timeline. It was top of the key. The Nolan White on the left side. Deep left to Allison. He takes a long 2. It's no good. Defensive rebound to the Dragons. Here they come trailing 12-10. They get an offensive rebound. Drive to the hoop is good. Ties it at 12. Nolan White drives, kicks it back out to Allison, up front to Friel. Watson kicks it over to Meckel. It was tipped by the Dragons going over there, and then Meckel tried to get the ball before it went out of bounds. Was unsuccessful. Come the Dragons that start tied at 12, 1:15 to go in the first quarter. Tipped. They come up with it. O'Brien a 3 on the right side. Short. Griffin with the defensive rebound for Minneapolis. Caden McCulloch brings it across the timeline. Inside to Caden. Oh, good idea. Skip pass into Griffin, but wasn't quite ready for that. 44 seconds left here in the first quarter. 12 all. Skip pass over to O'Brien. He stepped out of bounds. .30 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Meckel brings it across the timeline. Down low to McCulloch, and it is out of bounds off Minneapolis. .20 seconds left here in the first quarter. 5 seconds to go. They go for the last shot. Skip pass over to Farmer. He drives. And the shot is no good. Trying to draw a foul off Allison. Did not connect with that. After one quarter play, it's 12-all. Your Minneapolis Lions and the defending Class 3A champions and hosts of this tournament, the Halstead Dragons. We'd like to thank some more of our sponsors, the Davidson Agency of Bennington, Delphus, and Minneapolis. Call Lyle Davidson at 785-523-4202. A nationwide insurance agent and also an independent insurance agent. There's a wide range of companies and products to offer. We wish to thank the Citizen State Bank and Trust Company of Delphus, Glasgow, and Minneapolis. Call Owen Kendall and Jared Schmidt for all your banking needs. They feature online banking, deposit accounts, loans, investment and trust services, and the Farm and Ranch Corner. Okay, second quarter is ready to start, and Halstead will have the ball with the possession arrow. They'll inbound here at center court. Farmer drives, kicks it over to the left. To the right, a three-pointer out. O'Brien gets the rebound up and in. Uses 6'6" frame to get up there. Griffin drives. Layup is good. Ties it at 14. Farmer on the left wing, up to O'Brien up front. Back to Farmer, he takes a three. It's off. McCulloch about had the rebound. Couldn't quite hang on. Halstead to inbound. Fronted by White. They get it to O'Brien. O'Brien at the top of the key for a three. It's out. White with the defensive rebound for Minneapolis. Griffin with the shot. The rebound is off of Halstead, so it goes out of bounds to Minneapolis. 14-14, 6:41 remaining here in the second quarter. They get it into Meckel. Down to McCulloch for a three. It's no good. Defensive rebound for number one there of the Dragons. Little guy. They have a travel on O'Brien. Sixth turnover of the half for the Dragons. Over to Meckel. Inside to Watson. Jumper's off. O'Brien gets the rebound for the Dragons. 5, that is Gerber, drives, 6'2" senior, and scores. Gerber will go to the line for one. 16-14, this current score. Gerber with a chance for a three-point play. Misses it. Creel with the rebound from Minneapolis. Here we come down by 2 under Griffin. Layup from the left side, no good. Nolan White with the rebound. Up front to McCulloch. Oh, McCulloch drives, no good. Defensive rebound to O'Brien of Halstead. Layup is good. Minneapolis with the timeout. Trailing now 18-14, the biggest lead of the game for Halstead. We'd like to thank our sponsors again, the D&M Body Shop at 1206 North 120th Road in Minneapolis. Call John Wright at 785-392-2666 for all your auto body repair, paint, interior repairs, auto glass tinting, and replacement needs. Meckel inbounds to McCulloch. Lines down 18-14. Meckel to Friel. Out to McCulloch. Takes a 3 from the left side, no good. And we have a foul on the rebound attempt, and that's going to go on Griffin. His first, Minneapolis' 5th foul. O'Brien will bring the ball up the court. Now he hands it off to Farmer, the sophomore. Goes down to the low post. O'Brien thought about a 3 from the left side. Skip pass across to the right side. 2-point shot is off. They get their own rebound. Tipped away by Minneapolis. So a turnover. McCulloch drives. Creel, the right wing, over to McCulloch on the deep right side. A runner is no good. Defensive rebound for the Dragons. O'Brien down to Farmer. Up front to the 6'6" O'Brien, point guard. He takes a deep right-handed 3, no good. Minneapolis with the rebound. McCulloch tries to get it down front and results in a turnover. 3:58 here remaining in the second quarter. Minneapolis continuing to trail 18-14. The 6'6" O'Brien brings the ball up the court. They look to him deep right side. Farmer at the top left. Minneapolis in the 2-3 zone. O'Brien deep right side. Halstead can afford to take their time here. 3:22. Get it inside. Over here on the left. Farmer drives. Shoots it up and in. They take a 6-point lead, 20-14. Down to Osherman, no foul. How could that be? Osherman had the rebound, but came down out of bounds before he could get rid of it. 2:58 here remaining in the second quarter. Dragons up by 6. "6'6" O'Brien up front now. Into O'Brien at the free throw line. He's fouled. Creel with the foul. It's the 5th team foul. 2:42 left to go here in the first. Or the second quarter. Creel's first foul. Get pass over to number 2 on the right. That's Farmer. Get it into O'Brien. Turnover. Watson picks it up for Minneapolis. Griffin on the right wing. McCulloch at the top of the key here against the man-to-man defense of the Dragons. Griffin drives. Layup from the left is no good. O'Brien with the rebound for the Dragons. Minneapolis goes in kind of a matchup zone. Farmer drives, no good. McCulloch with the rebound for the Lions. He stops at the free throw line. Watson with the 3 is good. Daniel Watson, the sophomore. It's the first Lion bucket in quite a while, making it 20-17. Halstead. O'Brien up front, top of the key. 1:12 to go. Farmer on the left wing now. Back to O'Brien. Fakes the 3, drives into the lane, kicks it out to Farmer. He drives to the lane, kicks it over to the right. Number 12 with the 3 is no good. Rebounded by Peyton Griffin for Minneapolis. 57 seconds here remaining in the second quarter. Minneapolis trailing 20-17 with the ball. They get it to Meckel. McCulloch back to Griffin. It's loose. Meckel picks it up. Over to White for 3. That's good. Count it. Ties the score at 20. Minneapolis scores 6 unanswered points to tie the score. O'Brien out at the half-court line, looking to the coach for directions. What to run on this here at the end of the quarter. He drives, kicks it outside. They bring it back up front again. Obviously looking for the last shot of the half. 7 seconds. They tipped out of bounds by Minneapolis. Two seconds left here. Cameron Core, the sophomore, inbound it. Turnaround jumper 5, no good. And the score will end tied at 20, just like it ended tied after the first quarter. Each team scoring 8 points in the second quarter. Each team scored 12 in the first quarter. Very close game so far. Minneapolis roared back from a 6-point deficit after being outscored 6-0 after the opening points of the game, second quarter, excuse me. and then closed the quarter with 6 unanswered points to tie the game.
Freshman Trny sophomore Trny Gerber, junior Winkle, senior Elena Frazier, senior Lieutenant Captain.
Have some halftime entertainment here by the Lady Dragons as we get ready to give some halftime statistics.
Sophomore Maggie Mendez, sophomore Caitlin Page, junior Holly Black, junior Bailey Goodman, junior Kelsey Walter, junior Kinsey Wood, and senior Kelly Considine. And your color guard members, junior Patrick Baker, junior Macy Kelsey.
Welcome, Scott Osherman.
Kaylee Ward.
How you doing,
Have
Dale?
some words of wisdom for us.
Well, hats off. We in the second quarter we were down 6, and we fought back to tie it up going into half. So, hats off to some determination and some good outside shooting by 2 sophomores that got us back into a tie ball game going into half. They are tough. I like our chances. I think we can play with them.
We proved we can play with them.
We're deeper than they are.
Uh-huh.
Whether or not we can stay out of foul trouble.
They've got more senior strength than we do, but and a little bit more height with O'Brien.
Yeah, and he's Jonah out jumped him.
Yep.
And Jonah out jumped a kid with a rebound and
got called for the foul.
Got called for the foul, and the O'Brien kid out jumps somebody and doesn't get called. So advantages, I guess, of being 6'6".
Yep.
So run through some scoring real quick for both squads. I had 8 turnovers for Halstead.
Yep.
Okay. And Lakin Farmer had 2 points. Andrew O'Brien had 12, and Braden Gerber had 6. 0 for 1 for the free throw line. They had 3 kids in scoring. We had 4 kids score, so a fairly even match from that standpoint. I only had us for 5 turnovers. I could be off. Maybe
I had 6. But
6. Okay.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Scoring-wise for us, and I did not do a very good job of keeping rebound stats, so I hope you did. Nolan White had 3. Daniel Watson had 3. Caden McCulloch had 6, and Caden Griffin leading the way with 8. We had some missed opportunities down low that we just couldn't get the bucket to fall. So we could have had the lead at this point, but hey, they missed some as well.
Obviously, you had more rebounds than I do. I have Minneapolis down for a total of 9, and Halstead for a total of 14.
Yeah, I didn't do a very good job of keeping rebound stats. So
the big thing that, besides there for a while, Halstead scoring more points than we were, a big determining factor is they had 11 defensive rebounds. Potential point takeaways from Minneapolis. We ended up with 6 defensive rebounds under their end, but so they're, and Mr. O'Brien, their 6'6" senior, had a good percentage of those.
Yeah, he did. He's a good player.
Yes, he is.
He's a good player, solid player.
No doubt about it.
We're going to have to come back, and luckily Jonah did play some minutes in the second quarter, even with 2 fouls, and did not pick up his 3rd. So we should have him at full strength in the second half. Other than that, really nobody in foul trouble for us, other than Jonah with 2. Frio has 1. McCulloch has 1. Caden Griffin has 1. Not a lot of fouls called. Matter of fact, Halstead only has 2. Lake and Farmer with both of those.
Yeah, I like Minneapolis' chances here on Halstead's home court. We're playing well with them. We lost control there for a little bit in the second quarter, throwing balls away, trying to rolling too fast on the fast breaks. O'Brien is a big factor. When he was hot, and otherwise he was cold as could be. And that's to our advantage. So if we can keep him somewhat lukewarm, maybe we can stand a chance.
Yeah, I was going to look back and see. It was somebody else hurt us in the game 1. against them, and I was going to look and see who that was. I think it was Farmer.
Or Gerber.
Yeah,
Gerber did well, I think.
Well, actually, Kraus had led their way with 10 points, and he is not. I don't even know if he's scored. He may not even be playing. I've not seen him in the books yet.
10,
number 10, they had.
See his number out there right now.
So, yeah, I'm not sure if he's injured or if he's. Anyway, I don't see him out there.
Yeah.
So, is he on here?
Yeah,
he is. So, but yeah, I like our chances in the second half. We're just going to have to play with some more intensity, and we're going to have to figure out a way to get some rebounds. So okay.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. So,
box out.
Box out.
Box out.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you after the game.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Again, we thank our sponsors. We get to the Scott Osherman Agency, your American Family Insurance agent in Minneapolis and Belleville. Call Scott at 785-392-3111 for all your insurance needs. We'd like to thank Auto Tech, Gary Keating and Dave Sweat. The Klein Oil Company of Delphus with Jim Klein. Crooked Nail Studio in Minneapolis with Alexis Kern. Sunflower Realty with Monty Nelson in Minneapolis. Crossland Crop Insurance with John Pruitt in Minneapolis. And the Hometown Hardware in Minneapolis, Pam Barker and Vicki Kaufman. We thank all of you for supporting these live streaming broadcasts on CityLinkTV.com Minneapolis channel. As the Lions get ready to take the court here for a few warm-ups to see who can break this tie and go on to play in the quarterfinals on Friday night. Right now, I'd say the Lions have a good chance of that. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back for third quarter action. Minneapolis will inbound the ball with the possession arrow here. Derek Creel gets it in to Trent Meckel. They pick up a press. McCulloch open on the deep right, and bingo bango hits the three. Rebound to Jonah Oshman of the Lions. McCulloch at the top of the key to Meckel. Man-to-man defense for the Dragons over to Meckel on the right wing. Down low, picked off by the Dragons. We're throwing. Oops. Have a foul on Jonah Oshman, picks up his third. O'Brien at the top. Get past O'Brien on the left. He gets it down low. Back up to the right side. Farmer gets to the free throw line after O'Brien. Trying to figure out how to attack that Minneapolis 2-3 zone. Number 5, shot is no good. Meckel with the rebound from Minneapolis. Gets it down to McCulloch. Drives to the lane, it's good. Minneapolis with a 5-point lead, their biggest lead of the night. O'Brien takes it to the free throw line, jumps into the lane, out front to number 5, it's off. O'Brien, no foul over the back on the rebound. Minneapolis brings away the defensive rebound. Their third of the half. Creel drives, jump stop, kicks it out to McCulloch. McCulloch drives, the runner is short. Rebound the number 23, Schulte of the Dragons. O'Brien takes a long three. It's out. Griffin with the rebound from Minneapolis. Gets it out to McCulloch. Now to Meckel across the timeline. Creel on the left wing. Skip pass over to Meckel. Looking inside, now up front to McCulloch. McCulloch drives. Kicks it back to Meckel. It's a long three. It's off. O'Brien with the defensive rebound for the Dragons. Minneapolis up 25-20 with 4:40 to go here in the third quarter. Biggest lead for either team, the 5 points. O'Brien to Gerber. Back to O'Brien on the right wing. Back to Gerber, deep left. They about throw it away. And it's rescued. Down inside, 25. Kicks it out to Gerber. 3 from the right side is no good. 23 at the offensive rebound. He's bottled up. Kicks it out front. Number 5, shot is no good. Out of bounds to the Dragons of Halstead. 4:08 remaining here in the third quarter. Still 25-20 Minneapolis. O'Brien on the right wing. Gets it up front to Gerber. Right wing, back to Gerber at the top. Right wing again. Minneapolis continues to play a very effective 2-3 zone. Gerber on the right wing, skip pass to O'Brien on the left side. Down to the low post. Kicked out, back up front. Number 12 takes a three. It's good. The Dragons take a timeout. That basket was scored by Josh Talbot, 6-foot junior. That's the lead to Minneapolis. 2 points, 25-23. 3:30 remaining here in the third quarter. Minneapolis really making them work that ball to get an open shot with that 2-3 zone. It's being very effective for the Lions. Minneapolis will inbound under the Dragons basket. They'll put on some pressure here. A little token pressure, I should say. McCulloch over to White, back to McCulloch across the timeline. White top, down to Griffin inside. We throw it away. Picked off by O'Brien. Tried to get it into the low post. The big guy was there to intercept. Second turnover of the half on Minneapolis. They get it into the post. Out to O'Brien. And we have 3 seconds on the Dragons. Their first turnover of the half. Minneapolis with a 2-point lead. McCulloch drives. He's fouled on the way to the hoop. He'll go to the line for 2.
Foul play, charge to Brayton Gerber of Halstead. His first personal.
McCulloch is 73.5% free throw shooting. Makes that one. And that one puts the Lions up by 4, 27-23. O'Brien to bring the ball up court for the Dragons. Watson about had a pick off. They drive. Shots up, no good. He gets his own rebound. Up and in. Gerber with the deuce. And we almost had a pick off. Out of bounds though, off the Dragons. The foul on 25, that's Pitts, 6-foot senior. White throws it in for Minneapolis, gets it to Meckel. That's Minneapolis leading by 27-25. Meckel for 3, it's out. Osherman with the offensive rebound. Griffin drives into the center court, up and over the big guy, in for 2. Griffin for 2. Shots, yeah, come on, foul. Shots off for number 5, Gerber, and he fouls on the defensive rebound. Third team foul on the Dragons here this half. Minneapolis with 1. Creel gets it to nobody particular. We have a scrum. Tie up. Possession error to Halstead. Minneapolis turnover there. Their third of the half. Leading 29-25. A foul on the Lions. Sending O'Brien to the line for 2. Free throw, no good. Second free throw is good for O'Brien. McCulloch gets it cross court into the lane. The runner's no good. Off of O'Brien. 29-26 lead for Minneapolis. 1:10 to go here in the third quarter. Meckel to inbound. Gets it to Nolan White. Up front to McCulloch. Over to Meckel. 10-footer from the left is right side, no good. Gerber with the rebound. No. Farmer with the rebound for the Dragons. Dragons trailing by 3 here, 39 seconds remaining. Get it to O'Brien, over to Farmer on the right wing. 3 is good. To tie the game. "20 seconds left. Minneapolis can maybe play for the last shot. We throw it away. Meckel not had it, but Halstead picks it up. Now they get a chance for the last shot. Three-pointer is good. And a foul on the shot. Puts the Dragons up by 3, the chance to go to 4. Number 2, sophomore Farmer. And he makes it. Long shot by Minneapolis is off. And the score after 3 quarters of play, the Dragons up now 33-29. They outscore the Lions 7-0 in the last couple minutes of that quarter to take the 4-point lead. They outscore Minneapolis 13-9 in the third stanza. Minneapolis with possession arrow here to start the fourth quarter. I'd like to thank the Citizen State Bank and Trust Company for being one of our sponsors. See Owen Kendall or Jared Schmidt at Delphos, Glassville, and Minneapolis branches. for all your banking needs. Meckel. To McCulloch, the runner. He's fouled on a drive to the basket. Fourth team foul on the Dragons. Gives that to Meckel, top of the key. Dragons continue with the man-to-man defense. Griffin to McCulloch on the right wing. Back to Meckel. Inside down the low to Griffin. His shot's no good. O'Brien with the defensive rebound for the Dragons. They get it down court to Farmer. .7:16 to go here in the fourth. 4-point lead for the Dragons. Farmer drives, kicks it out to O'Brien on the right wing. He comes into the free throw line. Back to Farmer on the left wing. Up front to O'Brien now, top of the court. Get it back to Farmer. He drives into the lane. Layup is no good, blocked. Defensive rebound by White from Minneapolis. Let's see, Griffin, the 5-footer from the right side. Gets Minneapolis 2 points and up to 31 points. Farmer open for a three on the right. It's off. Rebound battle goes to the Dragons. Creel comes in from Minneapolis. Nolan White will sit down. Minneapolis trailing 33-31, 6:17 to go here in the fourth quarter. O'Brien kicks it back up front. O'Brien on the right side, three-pointer is no good. Defensive rebound to Minneapolis. Creel drives in, layup is short. Defensive rebound to the Dragons. And the Dragons with a chance to extend their lead. Three from the deep wing, no good. McCulloch with the defensive rebound. Shot by Oshman, no good. O'Brien with the rebound for the Dragons. Charging call on the Dragons. Fifth team foul. 5:06 remaining here in the fourth quarter, excuse me. Minneapolis with a chance to tie or go ahead. McCulloch under the basket for the Dragons. Just past the pressure, across the timeline, in and out. Griffin's going to be called for over the back. His third foul. Fourth for Minneapolis. The Dragons had 5 fouls. Farmer at the top of the key for the Dragons. Griffin went for the steal. Halstead maintains control. Skip pass over to the left. They got O'Brien on the bench here, their big guy. Farmer on the right wing. Skip pass over to the number 12 on the left, down low into the post. Drives in, kick pass to number 5, out of bounds to the Dragons. 4:14 remaining here in the fourth quarter. The Dragons maintaining that 2-point lead. (33-31). Into the high post, over the left, Farmer. Good defensive play by Friel. He kicks it back before it goes out of bounds off of the Dragons. Out of bounds to Minneapolis. Way down to Osherman. He has a hard time controlling it. Gets it. And unfortunately, it will go out of bounds to Halstead. They slowly bring the ball up the court, leading by 2, 33-31. 3:40 remaining in the fourth. Farmer kicks it to the right. Number 1 takes a 3. It's good. And a timeout by the Dragons. They take a 5-point lead now, 36-31. With 3:28 remaining here in the fourth. More thanks to our sponsors, D&M Body Shop, 1206 North 120th Road, Minneapolis. Call John Wright at 785-392-2666 for all your auto body repair and glass replacement needs. They also do interior repairs, glass tinting, along with replacement. We thank all our sponsors for helping us defray the costs of these live streaming events. 3:29 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Dragons up 36-31. Minneapolis will inbound under the Dragons basket. .66 O'Brien is back in the game for the Dragons now. We really didn't do any damage to them while he was on the bench, and they ended up with a 3-pointer to close out his run on the bench. McCulloch over to Griffin. Griffin drives, has it stolen. Come the Dragons on the run. Blocking. Call charging foul on the Dragons. Minneapolis trailing by 5 with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Nolan White. Full timeout, Minneapolis here with 2:56 remaining in the fourth quarter. We've got the ball on our end of the court. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Parson Lane Crop Insurance, John Pruitt, Sunflower Realty with Monty Nelson, Auto Tech, Gary Keating and Dave Sweat. Crooked Nail Stewart Studio with Alexis Kern. The Klein Oil Company of Delphus, the Jim Klein. And Hometown Hardware, Pam Barker and Nikki Kaufman. We appreciate your support in helping us bring you, our fans, these live streaming games of Minneapolis basketball. Meckel inbounds the ball to McCulloch. Man-to-man defense here for the Dragons. McCulloch's little runner is off. Dragons get the defensive rebound. O'Brien, the 6'6" senior, brings the ball up the court. Now the Dragons can be content to run the clock a little bit. Minneapolis has some fouls to give. We only have 4. The Dragons have 6. Tries some double teams. Farmer drives, gets it down low, up and in for the Dragons. Gerber with the basket from underneath the basket. Three-pointer by White is out, rebounded by O'Brien of the Dragons. And we have a foul. Meckel with the foul for Minneapolis. Fifth Minneapolis foul in the half. Several substitutes in here for the Lions. They get it down low, 23 up and in. 9-point lead now for the Dragons. With 1:20 to go here in the fourth quarter. What once was a real close game has been really extended for the Dragons here in the fourth quarter. They scored the last 8 points of the third quarter and have scored the last 6 here in the fourth quarter after Minneapolis opened the scoring in the fourth stanza. And unfortunately, we have not scored since. Meckel will inbound the ball from Minneapolis. They get it to McCulloch, the right wing. He drives against O'Brien. Over to Griffin. He comes back up front to Meckel. White for 3. We had a 3-point basket. I didn't see who it was. puts Minneapolis at 34 points, down by 6. Into O'Brien, he's fouled immediately by Griffin, and that'll be the 5th on fourth foul, excuse me. Fifth foul on Griffin. 7th team foul for Minneapolis is going to put O'Brien at the line.
To the line for the Dragons, number 3, Andrew O'Brien, shooting 1-1.
With a 1-1. Free throws out. Rebound to Osherman. Skipped out of bounds by the Dragons.
Returning for the Dragons, number 25, Lane Pitts.
55 seconds remaining in the 4th. McCulloch on the left wing. He drives in, down to Osherman. It gets away from him. Osherman comes out with it. We have a foul on Minneapolis. McCulloch with the foul. 44.8 seconds left here. Farmer, sophomore, to the line for a 1-1. Gets number 1. And number 2. McCulloch, 3, boom. Minneapolis takes a timeout. Trailing by 5, 42-37. So the Lions haven't given up. Still in the fight here. With 37.7 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Halstead will inbound the ball here. .38 seconds remaining under the Minneapolis basket. An immediate foul by Allison. Going to put Halstead at the line again for a 1-1. Be the 8th team foul of Minneapolis. Number 5, Braden Gerber, 6'2" senior. With a 1-1. Good. Second one is on its way, and no good. Rebounded by McCulloch. He's foul, I do believe. O'Brien with the foul for the Halsteads. Put Keegan McCulloch to the line for a 1-and-1 for Minneapolis. First one's good. Second one's on its way and good also. Makes it the 4-point lead for the Dragons. 35 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. 43-39. And Joan Osherman fouls on the input. His fourth foul, the 10th team foul, so a double bonus here for the Dragons. Number 5, Reagan Gerber, the 6'2 senior, to the line for 2. First one is good. Daniel Watson in the game for Minneapolis. Second free throw is good also. Makes the score 45-39, Halstead. Michael gets the ball into McCulloch. He's fouled on a long 2-point shot. His foot was on the line, I do believe. McCulloch with the first one. Second one on the way. It's good. Up. So he was shooting a three-pointer.
Returning for Halstead, number 5, Reagan Gerber.
Third is on its way and is off. They got the rebound. They throw it away, and McCulloch is fouled and will go to the line again. One and one for McCulloch. First is good. It's the first one, not the second. Rebound out to Halstead. And Jonah Osherman fouls and is going to be out of the game. Gerber to the line for 2. It's the first one. And the second one was good also. Excuse me, I didn't have the camera on any of that. Halstead takes a full timeout here with 18 seconds remaining. The score is now 47-42 Halstead with 18.3 seconds remaining here on the clock. We wish to thank the Scott Osherman Agency, your American Family Insurance agent in Minneapolis and Belleville, for supporting these broadcasts. Call Scott at 785-392-3111 for all your insurance needs. I'd like to thank the Citizens State Bank and Trust Company and Delphus Glasgow in Minneapolis. Call Owen Kendall or Jared Schmidt for your banking needs. They feature online banking, deposit accounts, loans, investment trust services, and the Farm and Ranch Corner. We also thank the Davidson Agency with Lyle Davidson, your nationwide insurance dealer in Bennington, Delphus, and Minneapolis. He's also an insurance agent, independent insurance agent, offering a wide range of companies and products. You can reach Lyle at 75-523-4202. Okay, Minneapolis will inbound the ball under the Halstead basket. 18 seconds left. They get it to McCulloch, brings it up the court. He drives, they tie up, and it will be a turnover to the Dragons. They have the possession arrow. 12 seconds remaining here in the fourth. Lions put on the full court pressure. And Mr. Allison will foul Mr. Gerber, sending him back to the line. 11.3 seconds left. It's 47-42. Halstead. 2 shots for Gerber. Person's up and good. He was their free throw contest shooting entrant, by the way. And he's done fairly well here tonight. Second one is up and good. Gives the Dragons a 7-point lead, 49-42. Get the ball to McCulloch. Takes a 3. It's no good. Rebound to the Dragons, and that's the way the score is going to end here. The Dragons 49-42 winners here over Minneapolis in this quarterfinal of the Adolph Rupp tournament. Dale Leach with Eagle Communications. We'll be back in a few minutes with the wrap up. Ready to shoot?
Yep. Welcome back to Halstead High School here in Halstead, Kansas, as Minneapolis Lions come up a bit short tonight with a score of 49-42 against the Halstead Dragons here on their home floor in the Adolph Rupp tournament here in Halstead. You know, Dale, we started out second half, really started out pretty good. They finished the third quarter pretty strong, had a 4-point lead, and we got within a couple in the fourth quarter. They hit their free throws down the stretch.
They outscored us by 7. I mean, they had a 7-0 run right at the end of the third, and then we hit the first basket in the fourth, and then they had a 6-0 run to extend their lead, and we really could never catch up from there.
Yeah. So scoring-wise for the Halstead Dragons, 2 by David Schulte, 3 by Cameron Core, 3 by Josh Talbot, 11 by Lakin Farmer, 13 by Andrew O'Brien. That's one thing. We held him to 1 point in the second half. That was nice.
Yep.
But Braden Gerber had 17 to lead the scores for Halstead, and 11 of those came in the second half. So we shut down one, but another senior picked it up. I did not do a very good job of keeping track of turnovers in the second half, so you may have that stat for Halstead.
Yeah.
But I did not.
I had them for 14 turnovers.
In the second half?
Excuse me.
Total?
6 in the second half. 7 from Minneapolis in the second half. They had 14 turnovers overall. We had 13. Pretty close there.
Yeah, so. And you said how many for Minneapolis in the second
13.
half?
7 in the second half. 13 total.
13 total. So scoring-wise for the Minneapolis Lions, Nolan White with 3, Trent Meckel with 3, Daniel Watson with 3, Caden Griffin with 12, Caden McCulloch with 21. Jonah did not score, and that's unusual there, that we don't get a little bit of points out of Jonah. Both Jonah and Caden Griffin fouled out. He just looked like he was struggling tonight.
Yeah.
So,
well, he had a big task in there.
Yeah, he did. So a tough night. Minneapolis led the way by Caden McCulloch. 7 for 9 for him in the second half free throw wise. We ended the game 7 for 10. Nice job by Caden from the free throw line. He had 21 points, and so yeah. Halstead was 11 to 14 from the free throw line. Ended the game 11 to 15 for the ball game.
Who was our second leading scorer?
Caden Griffin with 12.
Okay. So 2 men in double figures. All right. I had I already talked about the rebounds, or excuse me, the turnovers. They out-rebounded us 25-19 in the game. Pretty even on the defensive boards in the second half. They had 9, and we had 9. So they had 11 overall. We had 10.
Yeah.
So we were
very
close
better
there than in the first half.
Much better in the second half.
Yeah. So Minneapolis will move on to play Winfield in the consolation bracket Thursday night at 7:30. They did beat Winfield last year here in the same type of a game, and they are actually the biggest school in the tournament. They have an enrollment of 672 class 418, big 418.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't want to badmouth we play them, but their basketball program isn't where you expect to see a 4A program with that many students be. They don't have much height. I don't know if that's just circumstantial or what, but well, thanks as always. Oh, it gets here the players of the game will be Caden McCulloch with 21 points and Caden Griffin with 12. The 2 Cadens in double figures from Minneapolis. That's sponsored by the Davidson Agency of Bennington, Delphus, and Minneapolis, and the Scott Oshman Agency in Minneapolis and Belleville. We appreciate everyone's support that we've mentioned throughout the night for making these live video broadcasts possible here on CityLinkTV.com, Minneapolis. With that, Dale Leach and
Scott Osherman.
We're going to sign off. Thanks as always, folks, for having us in your home. We'll be back Thursday for a 7:30 tip against Winfield.
Good night.